we have been told before that, even if you disagree with these politicians, you shouldn't jubilate their death. And these are politicians that have tormented us, that have tortured and arrested, and Honorable Tumwine in particular had said that the deaths in Kampala were justified in November 2020. And it's because of that, because that shortly, his death came not long after that, and that's what was in the minds of everyone. But someone was arrested for celebrating his death. Is celebrating a death of someone that never harmed anyone. Never. You can't find anyone who has been in jail, who has been tortured, who has been killed by Ssegirinya or because of Ssegirinya. On the contrary, Honorable Ssegirinya was a victim of the state that the government that Ofwono Opondo speaks for. I found it very disturbing that even in death, there is, but also there's freedom of me to feel this way about that. But yes, about Honorable Ssegirinya, I will not be far from what Honorable Katuntu here said. I have heard about his story, his rise to where he was before he died. He used to be called the Dovoziri Chebando. And I was told a story when he was unwell, how he came on a matoke lorry from Masaka and started selling matoke in Chebando and kept calling on radios, and that's how he became a star. And for someone to do that, you have to be a unique person. And like Honorable Katuntu said, he was very popular in Kawempe North among his people, and that means someone who has worked for his people. His death, I think we've seen many people blaming government for it. I wish that government one day can tell us what Honorable Ssegirinya was in jail for 2 years for, and with evidence of those crimes that were accused of him. But most importantly, the issue of bail. We lost Bob Kasango in jail. Bob Kasango had been convicted, but still it does not take away the right to life that the Constitution talks about. I think that when people have health issues, one of the principles, the grounds of bail is that, and people have shown this, that we need treatment, and our judicial system has been adamant, and I think this is really senseless deaths that we are seeing now. About Honorable Babadi, I don't know how I hadn't known that she had died. I used to cover Parliament. I think being in my short stint in detention and all, maybe I lost out on so many things. I used to cover the 9th Parliament, and she was there. And just like Honorable Ssegirinya, she was also very popular in Koboko. I remember when, after Honorable Anita served the youth on the youth seat, she wanted to come for the Koboko Woman MP, and people told her, "You will be humiliated by an old blind woman," because she is very popular, and that's when a constituency was carved out for Anita. She was very intelligent, and yeah, I also look at someone with visual impairment like that, who had achieved all that, and who would speak in Parliament and people listen, and very, very brilliantly articulate issues. May her soul rest in eternal peace too.
Mm. Yes. You, Agatha, you're the lawyer journalist. So, was there any evidence ever adduced about their case?
No, not that we know of. Their case has never been tried. Even now they have been out on bail. Not that they tried their case and either convicted them or discharged them. There was never any significant hearing. The court appearances most of the time were for bail application hearings. As you remember, there's one day when their bail was granted, but as they stepped out, they were rearrested. And it happens. They have taken it as a joke. This government of OO, who is here celebrating his death. Nicolas Opio.
People die who are not in prison.
Nicolas Opio was arrested, and he was in prison for about 3 months, and they later said they later dropped charges. No one ever compensates these people for taking away their freedom. We have had also the case of Olivia Atuhaire and the 31 others, that for 4 years now, there's no evidence that has ever been adduced, and they are still in prison, apart from the few that were, nailed before this government and came out. Others are still there. So even in the case of Ssegirinya and Ssewanyana, there has never been any evidence adduced that they were the ones killing people with pangas in massacre. And even if you had evidence, if someone has shown the way Ssegirinya showed on TV, his feet rotting, his health deteriorating clearly, we have a provision for that for bail under Article 23 of the Constitution, and especially where you have not yet even determined that this person is guilty of any crime, and this was refused. Ssegirinya mother, I don't think there's anywhere that woman didn't go. To Parliament, crying every day. To the Minister of Justice, Norbert Mao, crying every day. And he's here saying that other people who are not in jail also die. So you will say that other people who are not murdered also die. Then why is murder a crime? The reasoning like that, there's a reason why we have life expectancy in other areas, because there are things that can be in place and postponed or deter deaths of
so Agatha,
people.
For that reason, the people of Masaka who lost relatives, that's an injustice to them as well.
So much, because it's a very, very
it was never investigated or anything.
Yes, it's a very terrible injustice. He has died on as a crime, because in this country, the Constitution, as a criminal, the Constitution says you are innocent until proven guilty, but it is the other way around. In practice, you are actually a criminal until proven innocence. But sometimes you're not even the one who is supposed to prove your innocence. It's the state, the same state that is saying you're a criminal. You wait to be at their mercy, and they say, no, we have dropped the charges. And this is so, it's not just unfair, it's an impunity that we really need to stand up against. I think the death of Ssegirinya maybe should serve as a lesson for both these in government, but also us outside, that let us really check this impunity before it gets out of hand. I don't know if it hasn't yet, if people are dying like this because of that, if people like Aaron Chiza are going to be in jail for 9 months because of the same impunity and people's show of might, Derek.